Age 13, Julia spends 2, 3, sometimes more than 4 hours a day on her mobile phone.
I have Netflix, Snapchat, I have Pinterest. I don't really have a lot now, and that's good. YouTube, I don't have it anymore. Well, I chose to take it off of my phone because I spent too much time on it.
Initially intended to call her parents in an emergency, Julia's phone and its applications, video and social networks quickly invaded her free time.
I remember one night, all I did was I kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling for hours, and I turned out going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning because I scrolled so much and I was too much on it. So the next day, or I think even that same night, I was like, it's too much, I need to take it off. And I think that made my time better. Like I had a bit more time on my hands.
Julia is now trying to limit her screen time, but that's not the case for most of her friends. Statistics Canada says 60% of 12 to 17-year-olds use social media several times a day. That rises to 93% among 15 to 24-year-olds.
Today, we have image rights. So in Quebec, every person, adult or minor, has the right to privacy. This includes respect for their image, their voice, and any representation of themselves, including photos and videos. I'll also add your voice, so vocals.
Elise Duprat is one of a new breed of lecturers in schools whose role is to prevent the risks associated with using the internet and social media on phones, which are banned in the classroom but present in almost every school bag.
Our youngest children, 12, 13, 14 years old, are going to be the ones looking for help the most. They'll have a device that's been given to them by their parents with good intentions to reach them, to know they are safe. It's well-meaning, but they don't know how to use it. Parents don't really monitor how they use their social networks, and that creates a lot of conflict within our school.
Harassment, intimidation, blackmail, death threats. Schoolyard conflicts are multiplying on the internet and social media. Worse still, as long as their young users have access to their phones, they follow victims home in the evenings and at weekends. In response, the country's largest school boards, the authorities in charge of the school network, have decided to lodge a complaint in Ontario against Instagram owner Meta, as well as Snapchat and TikTok, a first in Canada.
It really came to a point where we could not stand by any longer without doing something.
Initiated by the powerful Toronto school boards, the complaint accuses these web giants of facilitating and promoting cyberbullying, harassment, hate speech and misinformation. It's demanding $4.5 billion in compensation and a change in the addictive algorithm of the accused apps.
What we're looking for is for them to compensate us financially for the harm that they've caused so that we can provide resources to change the trajectory in kids' lives and the impact, and to rectify what's happening to children, not just now, but into the future, because this has been such a significant impact on them. And it's that we're also looking for these companies to change the way these platforms work so that they no longer harm children.
In response to the school board's complaints, the Ontario Ministry of Education will be banning mobile phones in the classroom and access to social media sites on school Wi-Fi networks from the start of the new school year. For her part, the director of the province's School Boards Association expects the collective action against Meta, Snapchat and TikTok to ignite a national movement in Canada, but warns that the expected change must go beyond the school gates.
If it's a big enough lawsuit, they'll have to pay attention. They'll have to pay attention. The cell phone ban, okay, that is going to help. We've always had policies about cell phones in the school, but at midnight, when a 12-year-old's in bed with the blankets over their head scrolling through TikTok, the cell phone ban at school is not going to help.
In a written response to our questions, TikTok said it promotes age and screen time controls for its under 18 users And Meta, for its part, says it has developed more than 30 tools to support teenagers and their families in dealing with what it describes as complex issues. But is restricting social media enough to protect users? This researcher, who has just completed a global study on smartphone addiction, is unsure.
Tech companies changing their apps or their algorithms or adding restrictions so that people use the apps a little bit less, that's part of the solution. We think that kind of as a top-down solution, but we also need a bottom-up component where the end users themselves, when we're using our phones, we do things like keep our phone outside our bedroom at night so we're not scrolling too late, turning off as many notifications as we can, try to have like a basic flip phone for as long as you can, try to avoid social media for as long as you can. These days, of course, that's challenging. Once all of your friends have it, then often people want to have it after that. And I think the ideal solution combines the bottom-up and the top-down approaches.
The Ontario school boards involved in the lawsuit have already joined forces with 5 other educational organizations since the complaint was filed. In the neighboring United States, 33 states are suing Meta for harming the mental health of young people and encouraging children to become addicted to its platforms.